Hi, everyone. Welcome to DomainSherpa. Today is an episode of Down the Rabbit Hole with Drew, Shane, Josh, myself, and Alan Dunn, where we do a deep dive into NFTs, talking about the Bored Ape Yacht Club, the Bored Ape Kennel Club, CryptoPunks, OpenSea, and a whole lot more. All this is coming up right now here on Down the Rabbit Hole on DomainSherpa, where all roads lead to domains. So Ape, Ape, baby.
It don't matter what you say, ain't no way that you messing with my team today. It don't matter what you do, I will not lose.
What's up, Sherpa Network? Thank you for tuning in today. My name is Jonathan Tenenbaum, aka JT, aka Jay On, and I am the host and producer of DomainSherpa, where all roads lead to domains. Today's show is a down the rabbit hole. As we say on DomainSherpa, all roads lead to domains. So in the reverse, our work with domains has us venturing in different areas all the time. And some are familiar to us: crypto, NFTs, other digital assets, and others that aren't so familiar. Hence the jump down the rabbit hole. So, we've been doing this show for a little while, and if nothing else, it just gives us an opportunity to talk about different things that we like to talk about and that we're interested in. And today we've got a lot of really cool stuff that we're going to be talking about. Today's show is going to be focused on NFTs. There is crazy stuff happening in the space, and we're super excited. We've been diving in and getting more and more involved over these past couple of months. And, it's just a wild space, and we're excited to be here talking about it. So with that, let me go ahead and introduce my guest. So the first time I've had this dude on the show, so I'm super excited about it. Over to my right, we got my boy, Alan Dunn, aka Bill Gates, aka Gandalf. All right. Alan is the managing baby. And I'm going to get to this. Alan is the managing director of NameCorp, company focused on domain name management and acquisitions, 20 years of experience, $50+ million in transactions, self-professed domain name nerd. He's also the founder of autismawareness.com, a community of over 250,000 people with a focus on autism awareness. And he is also way heavy in NFTs. So I've got the Bill Gates thing because he's a self-professed nerd. He's also one of the most philanthropic people that I know. Alan is a incredibly genuine, great dude. And then the Gandalf piece, I mean, he got a jump on NFTs ahead of a lot of us. And he is, as you could see in his, on his avatar, he's flexing his punk. He's flexing his space ape, right? DMT space ape right now. And so, yeah, this is the first time I've had Alan on the show since I've started hosting, and I'm really excited to have him here. And especially in the show about NFTs, because he is the man. So what's up, dude? How are you?
Cool. Ape Ape baby, man. I love this stuff. Thanks for having me on. You got this is a good show, man. I got more energy now than I've had forever. So.
Oh, dude, Ape Ape baby. I love it. That actually might end up being the name of the show then.
Ape baby.
All right, now I'll keep going around the room. Familiar faces for all y'all. Below me to the right, we got my boy Josh Reason, aka Bjorn Borg, aka Harry Kane. Founder of Digital, he's the host of the Digital Fortune podcast here on the DomainSherpa Network. Founder of DNWE, NFTs. He's a Zed Run,
addict,
mogul.
Mogul. That's the word I was looking for. Mogul, and getting busy. He's breeding horses. He's selling horses. He's winning races. I mean, it is going down. You know what I mean? So we're going to talk.
It's definitely going down.
We're going to talk about Zed Run and all that good stuff. Continuing around the circle, we got my boy Sugar Shane Cultra, aka Honey Shane, aka Mike Rowe. He is broadcasting live from his daughter's dorm room at Syracuse right now. And,
actually, literally in the storage closet.
All good. And and everybody, I mean, if you don't know, I mean, Shane is the man. You got to check out dsad.com for the daily domains list. You got to check out bhouse.com, wormcastings.com, some of his side businesses. He's got the nursery. He's also the dude who got me into apes. I mean, Josh also, but Shane was the guy who was like, yo, you got to get in on the Bored Ape Yacht Club. And like, he was the one who got me to jump in. And I am grateful for that. We've been having, even if we don't make another dollar, and we've been making money. I mean, there's money to be made, but even if I don't make another dollar, man, this shit has been a lot of fun. And, I appreciate
the text alone between you, Alan, and Josh. I literally went to dinner one night for 30 minutes and came back to 132 unread texts. That was 1 hour.
Yo, man, it's moving fast, man. And then last but certainly not least, over to my left, we got my boy Andrew Rosner, aka Morpheus, aka John Galt. #1 domain broker in the world. He's the man, the myth, the legend, the Dirk Diggler of domain names. Boom.
Couldn't resist. Just couldn't resist.
I couldn't, man. I couldn't. And so, what's really crazy though is we did a Domain Sherpa review a couple of weeks ago. And at that point, Drew didn't even have any apes. And before he aped in, and now Drew's got he's got eight apes now, man. Is that what you got? You got a space ape.
I had 11, and now I'm down to 8.
You had
11?
Yeah.
11 apes, man, and they're all dope. He had the 4-trade ape that he just sold, but he's got 2 theme match apes. He's got the 2 hip hop apes with the gold jacket, gold chain, including Oro Blanco.
I think I got 2 of the cleanest hip hop apes.
Yeah, no, I just bought my.
You got some cool hip hop apes for sure. I like your hip hop apes.
So anyway, so that's the intro. We're just diving right into it. Let's just keep talking because
and let's not forget my space ape.
The space
and your golden dog. You're the only one with a golden doggo now.
And the golden dog, baby.
Golden dog with the AirPods. Hey, I don't know if you guys saw this, but somebody posted today one of the dogs that didn't get claimed was a gold dog with the crown on his head.
Oh
No.
Yes, never got claimed. Yeah,
he was burned. He was never created.
Never,
yeah.
But somehow they have a picture of him, so I don't know how that works. I just literally saw it on Twitter like a couple minutes ago, but saying that the ape didn't get claimed, gold dog, crown on his head, super clean, literally probably arguably what would have been the most valuable dog, and dude just never claimed him. So for those who are kind of just learning about this stuff, so the way the process worked, so we're talking about the Bored Ape Yacht Club. And if you owned an ape, right? So it's NFT, it's a Bored Ape. If you own the ape, what the group Yuga Labs that are the founding folks of the Bored Ape Yacht Club, they basically said, all right, we're gonna airdrop to you a dog to be a companion to your ape, provided you have an ape, and then you had to go through a process. You had to have your ape in your MetaMask wallet. Then you had to go to the Bored Ape Yacht Club site. Basically, I mean, it sounds a little more complicated than it was. It was super easy. I mean, once you had the ape in your MetaMask, you went to the site, clicked a button, claimed your dog. You didn't know what dog you had until the reveal, which happened a week later. They gave you a week. In fact, the announcement, there's another announcement from the Bored Ape Yacht Club coming as early as today about what's coming next and some other stuff too. But so they made the announcement on a Friday. You had a week to claim your dog. And so obviously everybody, 90% of the folks, 98% claimed their dogs, but there were a few that were not claimed. And, and the dogs themselves, I mean, it was a beautiful thing. To me, that was one of the moments. And I think that's kind of what helped get Drew over the wall, right? Because it was this.
Well, hold on. So first off, I didn't even get over my hump and jump in or ape in until literally the day after they started minting the dogs. And when I never got a free ape or free. I mean, I never got to mint a dog. I had to go out and buy the dogs. But I traded up my 2 dogs that I bought. I traded them up and I got the gold dog.
Yeah, the gold dog is really dope. It's got AirPods. I have a sick dog. My dog, we'll show the pictures of these as we talk about this. Billy in post-production is going to throw up all the images of the different NFTs that we're talking about. So I've got my glow-in-the-dark radioactive dog, Neon Sanders. Thank you, Shane, AKA Fallout Boy, who is the 6th most rare. So in the rarity. So for folks who don't know, because again, we're trying to, I know there's a large chunk of this audience that is going to know stuff and folks that aren't. So we're going to try to keep, providing info and stuff as we go. So if you go to rarity.tools, there is a site that they do a very good job of breaking down on some of these different collections of NFTs, how rare these different NFTs are in these various collections. And the rarity is obviously a very key driver. It's not totally determinative, right? This is an art mixed with a science type of thing. But, the more rare that these things are, a lot of times that'll assign additional value to them. And so Neon Sanders, man, he's the 6th most rare dog at the moment. And keep in mind, he was, just got dropped into my wallet basically. And then when they revealed what the dogs were that night, I mean, I was celebrating. I'm like, I'm gonna make so much money off of this dog. Now I get these big offers. I don't even want to sell him though, man. He's like my dog, it's hard to even think about. And he goes with my cheetah ape. So that's another thing within the Bored Ape Yacht Club. You've got the different apes. there's different sort of, you know, based on what they're wearing or what color the fur.
Sub communities.
Yeah, exactly. Like different cliques and crews. So one of my apes has the cheetah skin. So he's a cheetah ape, cheetah gang, we the gang. You know what I'm saying? And his name is Safari Ferrari. So we'll post him up right now. So it was actually Safari's dog that is Fallout Boy. And so, you know, it's just, you know, and I've gotten offers on, you know, on both. And like, I mean, you know, for those, you know, just to keep an eye out, we got a track coming. So the apes are a crew called the Zoo, AKA the Zootang Clan. So they got a track they're in the studio working on right now. And, you know, so I can't.
And it's hot. It is. It's off the charts.
I can't be selling apes while they're literally in the lab working on making some music. And
do you know what the cool thing is about your doggo, JT? The cool thing about your doggo is that it's not just rare. It's like that guy is he's aesthetic as anything that I've seen. Like his eyes match with his shoes. He's like neon. He's got the red bandana with the rose. He's like really aesthetic. Yeah. So like he's a top dog.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Josh. I think one of the things, like, you know, this whole thing is new, right? So people got apes, they came up in value. Now you're getting dogs, and like for perspective, that golden dog that nobody got that's burned, that's probably worth what, $25,000-$35,000. I mean, it was a huge free gift to the owner.
Yeah.
But now, and these rarity tools came out. And I really like this, but it's also like kind of my opinion, like on domain, you know, like Esteban and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like
exactly, I agree.
That's the same kind of like, you know.
Yep.
It's hard, but there's some really, like, people are eventually going to look, I think, at the aesthetics, and they're not. You're not going to pay. There's going to be enough people to pay for a clean dog, or you know, none of this blood from the mouth and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't get wrapped up in the rarity tools.
Yeah. Well, so
I agree.
We already see it with the apes, right? I mean, people are looking for apes that look good primarily. I mean, that's why you see apes that are like 1,000, 2,000 in rarity selling for 25 ETH, as opposed to ones in the top 500 selling for 10.
Yep.
I'm in a rare position in amongst all of you because I was late to the party, right? And I'm usually early to the party, but I was very late to the party. I was a naysayer on the whole thing. Even though I was actually probably one of the first investors in the world in the NFT space by investing into NFT companies, but I didn't understand or appreciate the NFTs themselves. And what changed my mind was the apes. And before the apes, I hadn't seen any other project. Like, I love the punks because not necessarily so much for the aesthetic, although some of them are really cool. I really like Alan's, but some of them are kind of goofy and just like, I don't know why anybody's going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on that, or millions. But Bored Apes did a couple of things that clicked for me. And one was, first and foremost, was the aesthetic. It was like, you know what? I really like these. I would actually like to print out some of my apes and put them on my wall, which I'm planning to do. And, you know, like, I think that's really cool. I actually think they're cool art. My kids immediately dig them. And I tested this. So I pulled up, like, you know, in the marketplace, like a bunch of the different projects. We can't see it, Alan.
I know, right? Go ahead.
Because the background is throwing it
Yeah, the
off.
background thing was like, it was.
Either way, don't forget, Alan. We'll just throw it up in post production.
I was trying to slide into Andrew's conversation, but I wasn't trying to cut him off.
So, you know, the aesthetic thing got me, and so, you know, I went off track and I got caught up in the rarity tools thing, as Alan was saying, and then I was like, you know what, this is bunk. I don't give a shit if it's number 426 rarity. I just want things that I like, that appeal to me personally. And one of the things that I liked about Bored Apes is, for me, it's real pop culture, because what pop culture is something that is almost ridiculous, that forces culture to look in the mirror and realize the absurdity in a moment in time, a place in time. And that's what these things do. Why are we a bunch of seemingly intelligent people who are all successful in their own right? Why are we spending our time buying JPEGs of digital monkeys, right? And the reason is because it's like looking in the mirror. We see ourselves in these things. We are a bunch of bored apes. We're sitting around in front of a freaking computer all day, bored off our ass, whether you like it or not. And, you know, it's leading us down a path to start buying digital monkeys. Now, what happens with that is that it's a flywheel, right? Because of that culture, because we're looking in the mirror and seeing ourselves in these things, it makes it pop culture, which makes it valuable, which makes it, creates demand.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah.
And then the second thing that drove me to the Bored Apes was the community. I liked the fact that the Bored Ape wasn't just a JPEG. This is your ticket to be part of a community. And you could immediately see that this community was developing. And there was all these sub communities. You got Cheetah Gang, you got the Four Trades, you got Space Apes, you got, the hip hop gang is super, super, super hot. Like, I mean, JT, you're now in that Twitter thing for the hip hop apes. I mean, these guys are crazy. It's like, they're getting after it. And people got crazy projects they want to launch. And, it's cool. It's really
you also
cool.
got celebrities now that have joined and
Totally.
are engaging and interacting on these threads too, because it's like where domains in the past have been somewhat of an equalizer, where it's like if you had access to certain domains, you could get access to people you otherwise wouldn't have access to, right? And interact with people you otherwise wouldn't interact with. NFTs are doing that, but even at a whole nother level, because like you said, there's this additional sort of pop culture, and the fact that the way that they spread, where it's music, it's art, it's like it's comics, it's all of this kind of stuff that converges, where it's all this cool shit. We all grew up on video games. We're all like tied into our tech. Like you said, we're all a bunch of bored apes, except me. I love my job. I'm never bored in my job. My job's the best. But stay bored, y'all. But but yeah, without a doubt, man. And I think that's the kind of thing that, and I would agree with you too for the apes. And this goes back to what we were saying, where they call them ape aesthetics, right? Where it is a combination of there's a rarity thing and certain things that are fire and or laser eyes and gold apes and things like that make them extra cool, that aren't that common. But for me too, when I bought my first ape, like he's not literally like in the bottom 200 from a rarity standpoint. That's my man Lincoln Abraham. You know what I'm saying? And for Link, but he's wearing the Bored Ape Yacht Club hat, super clean. And for me, I was like, I don't need an ape that's got a cigarette in his mouth or has got his eyes bugging out of his head. That shit just wasn't. So I felt like I wanted an ape that was going to become my avatar, my PFP, right? And what does PFP stand for?
Proof of something like that. Yeah, PFP is actually, let me look at it. It's
either way.
It's representative of profile picture, right?
Yeah, profile picture. And either way, at the end of the day, I wanted that to
profile picture,
to represent what and they use that term. I see that pop up a lot.
Sorry, it's picture for proof.
Okay. People call their avatars or their profile picture their PFP. I wanted my PFP to be an ape that I felt like, could be me. You know what I mean? That like I could relate to, and like, I could throw on the hat.
It's street cred. It's street cred. It's like, Bloods in the Crips that wear a blue and a red bandana. It's like street cred. It's like, look, I'm a part of this community.
My name is Sean. That's his name.
Well, and Colonel Whitenfur, man. Don't sleep on Colonel Whitenfur.
Well, and Colonel Whitenfur's got some white honey. We talked about that coming out. I got a line of pure white honey, no color at all, that we're going to have Colonel Whitenfur honey. 20 bottles.
So
it's limited.
Listen, this is a point worthy of discussion, which is Bored Apes was the first project to assign 100% of the commercial rights to this art and everything surrounding the art itself, the NFT, to the owner. And so you can do that. You can take your ape and you can go launch a line of honey, use your ape, and you don't owe royalties to anybody. You don't have to ask permission from anybody. And to me, that speaks to the ethos of what this community, as the more macro community of crypto, is. It's about permissionless. Like that is, at least for me, I think it's different for different people, but for me, the main incentive for me, the main driver of my interest in crypto period, whether we're talking about Bitcoin or NFTs, is permissionless. I don't want to have to ask permission from anybody for anything. Get out of my life.
Yeah, well, it's
And
control.
so-
Well, no, you brought up a good point. I mean, this is actually one of the triggers, though, like those aha moments that kind of made me jump into NFTs. Like, just imagine, like, and Bored Apes kind of like they started this, right? They allow people to use the IP and all that stuff. But just imagine you have an amazing artist. I'm not going to mention anybody's name, but let's say they come out with this amazing set of characters or a single character or something, and put it up for 50 ETH. And if 50 ETH or whatever the price is, but it includes the IP. Well, from a brand perspective, I mean, Jesus Christ, what a deal! I mean, if this guy has 20,000 followers and they love his work, you got a 20,000 client base almost. Like you can, not a client base, but you get 20,000 dedicated cheerleaders for you buying this, this JPEG, for the lack of a better word, and put it on your brand. Like this is all going to be so innovative over the next.
I think this is why uniqueness is so important as well, because you talk about owning the IP, right? So let's say that you own the IP for an ape, but there are like 5 other apes that look very, very similar. Maybe one's got like a diamond stud in it and one doesn't. You're then going to struggle to launch something to monetize on that ape without owning the other ape as well, because whoever owns that other ape owns the IP for that ape, and it looks too similar. So I think, like, one of the reasons why uniqueness is so important is because you don't want your ape to be confused with other apes.
Yeah. Well, I think that
how many of you, sorry, Jack, how many of you would buy a Beanie Ape? You know what I mean? Like, that's already branded kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and I think, but then it also goes to the point that Drew was kind of making about autonomy, control, and now you get to layer on your own creativity. It's like, now the sky's the limit, and it's based on your effort and the things that you're bringing to the table. I think it's important to also bring up the point, you've got CryptoPunks, which were really kind of the OG NFTs. They're crazy expensive, right? For now, they're still the number one sort of on a per NFT basis as far as what it costs to actually obtain a CryptoPunk, right? And that's what Alan's got in the upper left-hand corner of his screen, although he's got it facing, I don't know how to look on the recording. To me right now, it looks like he's facing left, which would make him a CryptoFunk as opposed to a CryptoPunk, right?
But no.
Oh yeah, I couldn't figure this out actually, because I just did this like 10 minutes ago and it was upside down and all this stuff. So
right. But either way,
he's not a funk, guys. He's not a funk. He's a punk.
It's the real deal.
He's got the CryptoPunk real. But CryptoPunks, from what I understand, their terms of service basically say that it's anything over $100,000 that you get from value from a derivative work, they're entitled to I don't know if it's all of it or a portion or whatever. Whereas for the Bored Apes, it's 100% of whatever you get, that doesn't violate their terms is yours, which I think is, an amazing and great thing, because it's basically saying, look, and I love the art of the apes. I think aesthetically the art looks really, really good. And then, but the fact that you've got this ability to kind of do your own thing and monetize it how you want, just create endless possibilities. It's really
interesting topic regarding what Alan brought up. When you compare the apes versus the punks, one thing that I'm noticing right now that is very interesting is the fact that the ape floor is not far away from the punk floor, but the top punks are way, way, way more valuable than the top apes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what is the floor on a punk? I want a punk.
The punk is about 20 ETH.
Yeah, well, floor on the apes is like 7 or 8 right now.
But who's been I've been talking to you guys since day one.
Right now, the floor on the
apes
apes is
cross
6.75. I'm looking right now. It's 6.75. You got 7 apes under 7 ETH, and only one of them is an ape I would even buy.
Well, yeah, because you can tell they're really kind of not popular rarities, because the floor is really good. Apes are gone. I think they're past the floor. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, there are.
I mean, you can get some aesthetic. I was just looking. You can get some pretty aesthetic apes still, but close to
plain vanilla. Plain vanilla.
I mean, plain vanilla.
Like, so, for example, you got this guy number 9433, and his rarity score is 9433. He's
I just look like a black hat. You're not getting under 10 ETH anymore. No black hats.
Yeah.
So
this guy's 9036. He's like the cream colored ape with the hat on. He's got the thing that I thought was a toothpick. JT says it's a cigarette. Coming out.
Yeah, he's all right. He's all right.
He's all right. He's a pretty aesthetic ape. And he's a floor ape. He's probably the only deal at that price, just because I just don't see any attraction to any of these other ones, at that price. I think you're right.
Check out 2535. He's a little bit over the floor, but that's the kind of ape that I think is undervalued right now. He's like, he
Yeah.
matches, he's aesthetic, but he's cheap.
Yep.
And cheap is all relative. I mean,
oh yeah, well, exactly,
it's so
because
funny.
he's
I
8
paid
ETH.
0.38
He's 8 ETH. He's
for
over
mine.
16 grand right now to buy him. So it's like you're at
He's
the point
cheap.
now where you're like 16 G's is, now we're getting into, hey, you could buy a car kind of territory, And I think
Okay, so yo, check this out. This is interesting. Okay, so this is the kind of ape I want to buy, and I might actually just swing in here and buy this guy. So that one that I pointed out, the 9036.
Yeah.
Check this out. So he is 6.9 ETH. That represents he is the floor ape for cream colored fur. He is the floor ape for the army hat. He is the floor ape for the bored cigarette. He is the floor ape for yellow background. He is just under the floor for his eyes, bored eyes. He is just under the ape for no clothes. He is
like
just under the floor.
he literally
is literally across the board, every single category. He is the floor, or just slightly above the floor. That tells you, like, okay, like you only need one of those categories to move up, and you're in the money.
Oh yeah, well,
I like this ape a lot. Actually, it's clean. I mean, it's really clean, except for that board.
But he's got the cigarette, and I promised my wife no more cigarettes.
I know. I won't buy. I won't buy him the cigarettes either. Like when Punks did this art installation in Miami, that's one thing people have to realize too. If you're going to commercialize this stuff, they don't want cigarettes in this stuff. I mean, like they literally had to edit out the cigarettes to be able to put them on the banners, on the billboards. So
yeah, well, I saw an interesting tweet where somebody was saying, hey, I wanted to buy an ape for my kids. And, my wife said, kind of same thing, no cigarettes, no death, no blood, none of that, like nothing that was going to, no weapons, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, now if I'm looking at the floor apes at the moment, from just an ape aesthetic standpoint, not looking at rarity at all, you got 5453, who's got like the beanie, the 3D glasses. He's pretty chill, he's all
right.
But I dig him as a clean kind of option. But again, he's 7.5 ETH. So you're paying 15 G's to be able to and if you look at he's a little bit over the floor on a lot of his different traits. So it's like, value wise,
you gotta look at traits that are popular as well. So like 3D glasses are a popular trait, right? In general, it's just like with punks,
right?
The one of like hoodie up is like the most popular trait basically. Yeah. And it's not rare. It's not that rare, but it is rare because nobody wants to sell them because they're, and which makes them considered like the ultimate punk essentially, right?
Well, and that's
I think that's a huge point what Josh just made. Like, it's not just about the rarities, right? It's about the ownership. Like, if there's certain collections like I'll go through, and they say the most rare pieces only have 20, but if 15 of them are owned by big collectors, I mean that just throws the rarity out the window. I mean, there's only 5 available.
And also, I mean, like the laurel or whatever with the thing on the head, the Roman thing, nobody cares about that. And it's more rare than most things out there.
Yeah.
It's always been that way. Yeah.
The Shane scale is more valuable than the rarity scale. I mean, when I picked them out, the crown was cool, the black hat, the red hat, like those represented more to people than any of the rarity stuff. And you're seeing that come through now. I mean, you're not going to find a colored ape with a black hat. That's just what people think represents them more than the other ones. And the best deal in all of them, and it's not cheap, are the 4 crowns at 25 ETH right now. Like those, that 50 grand is going to be well spent.
And that's what's crazy. Even if you look at spacesuits, right? Spacesuits are an example, because I know we spent some time trying to because I know this was Drew's thing for a minute, and this is what Alan's got showing right now, where he is.
Yeah, that was my number one. I just wanted to have a spacesuit, but
right now there's only 2.
Now I'm leaning. I'm really digging the hip hop.
Yeah, the hip hop.
What I'm digging is the community around the hip hop apes, but the space ape was kind of like that. It speaks to me.
Well, and here's the thing. There's only 2.
I think you guys should look at the crown ones. I just put one up yesterday for 60 ETH. It's a deal.
But this is my point, right? So if you want a spacesuit ape, right, because that's your jam, there's only 2 right now that are even close to that are 15 ETH, or there's one at 14.68 and one at 15. You cannot you just can't get one unless you're willing to spend 30 G's right now. And it's like, so, I mean, I think those are great points. It's not just the rarity, it's the ape aesthetics, it's the particular traits that, are the stuff that, are in demand or, you know, are otherwise hard to find. And, you know, those kinds of things. And that's why this thing is just, you know, more of an art than a science, and, you know, kind of like domains, but even more in that way, because these are art really at heart. And, which just makes it all really, really wild. And yeah, and like you said, you throw in, to Drew's point, you throw in the community aspects of it, because I'm in that hip hop community. That shit is bumping. There's just a great like, you know, and it's just such a unique group of people, but the vibe is really cool. The projects people are talking about, you've got a couple, like I said, celebrities that are in that mix that are bullshit and like engaged. And it's just like, you know, that in itself is just a wild, like,
I mean, I'm having direct message conversations with collie buds. Like, I mean, I've been a fan of collie buds for like literally 15, 20 years. Like, I mean, for me, that's surreal. Like, and it's only just because we're both into, you know, hip hop apes. And it's like, yo, what's good? Like, what?
and he's like super down. And then you saw people like Des Bryant, all these football players and basketball players that are buying apes and like, you know, getting more and more involved in the space. And it's like, just, you know, and at the end of the day, there's only 10,000 of them, right? And in fact, there's less because somebody burned one. That was a whole crazy situation where that guy effectively killed off an ape and created all this outrage. You know what I mean? Because it was like killing an ape, which was fucked up, personally, I think. And,
I got Cool Dad of the Year award a couple days ago for my son. Like, he just, because Snoop Dogg liked one of my tweets.
yeah.
Really? No way.
Oh, hey guys,
happen.
we're
That's a
3
check
minutes,
box.
guys. We're 3
That's like
minutes
a
away
life-
from.
That's like a life goal.
First of all, that is beyond dope, Alan. I told you that at the time. I already told you that via text. But hey, there's an Art Blocks curated drop that's about to go down in 3 minutes. So I just want to make sure you guys were aware.
Get ready for gas wars.
I know it's gonna go down.
I wasn't going to mention that because then there's 4 less people bidding.
I know, and I appreciate, you know, to Alan's credit, man, he's good about that. Like, he'll hit me up and be like, "Yo, you should check out this particular thing," knowing that it's gonna add some competition to the mix.
Keeping it real, it's my hip hop ape group on Twitter that informed me about the Art Blocks drop this morning.
Yeah. That's true. They did. They were up
My
on
hip hop apes, man. They're keeping me, you know, keeping
the
me
hip hop
abreast.
apes are
Well,
dope.
you know what? Somebody asked me this actually a couple days ago. They're like, you know, they sent me this email and they listed off like Rarity Tools, Discord, all of this stuff, right? And they're like, listen, what should I use to like learn what's going on? And my text back to them was Twitter.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. I mean, that's where all the information comes from. The Punk's Discord is really good too, but Twitter is where it all kind of.
Yeah, and the Discord is especially for specific projects, because you could find out, like, for some of these artists, like you know, De Silva or De Siena, who does the mine stuff. You know, so because he does like a sporadic kind of different sort of method almost every day when he's dropping stuff. You know, so the Discords are helpful, but I find Discords to be hard to follow. And when you're all of a sudden in like 20 of them, it's just like when you have a ton of Skype shit going on, and it's like, you know, now you got to go back through like, you know, pages of messages to try to figure out. And it's a combination of stuff that's kind of useful and helpful and cool. Other shit is just like it's just noise, you know what I mean? And cut through all that kind of stuff, it's hard because there is a lot of stuff. And keep in mind too, this is a relatively new space. So you've got, you know, a lot of people who present themselves as experts when, you know, we've all been doing it kind of as long as each other. And it's like, you know, there's some people who clearly, you know what they're doing, have had some success, or are very technical and understand a lot of that shit. But, you know, we're all still, you know, kind of feeling our way around in the dark here, trying to figure out like what's the best way.
What Art Blocks am I doing? Has it come up yet?
Yeah, it's curated projects, glitch crystal monsters. It starts in 5 seconds.
5 seconds, son. Let's see it, guys. Let's everybody get your refresh on. Get ready to pay some gas.
Let's see what happens. DomainSherpa,
Yeah,
bringing it to you live
on the drop. You know, Art Blocks. So I think it's happening.
Not there yet.
Mine still paused. Mine still says paused.
Same here. It's 11 o'clock Central, which is now. It's not loading now, so I'm sure it's.
No, I was doing that
What
for
is
me.
UTC? What's UTC?
Oh, that's just the like the time zone, the universal.
Yeah, which time? That's what I'm asking you, man. What
it's
what
not
time
like
zone is that?
it's like in the ocean. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah, it's just this universal, like just everybody.
That's like the meridian. That's like 1 hour before UK time, right?
I thought it was after UK time. I'll look it up in a second once I'm done.
Oh, it must be going live now because now my shit is not even refreshing. It's like frozen.
Yeah.
And I've got gigabyte internet.
I'm still showing paused.
Yeah,
I see what you did. I see what you're trying
I
to
just sold an NFT this very second. I'm gonna flip it and put it into these things if I can get them. I just sold a show deer.
Oh, you sold a show?
Oh, you
deer?
did? Shoulder? Good. Awesome.
Yeah. I bought it for 0.1, sold it for 0.43.
Nice, man. That's 4x, right? In you know, how long? Like, how long do you have it? 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Alan,
Well, however long I
can you talk about your art block sale? Can you put that out there in the universe? I mean, people could see it on the blockchain. So, but this was an art block.
Well, but they can't see. They don't know whose wallet is whose.
Oh yeah, yeah, but I guess you can kind of get there.
So, anyways, we're all focused right now on this drop, but you know, I guess what I wanted to bring to the conversation today was really just about like what took me from being a hater to being a lover. And, you know, it really it's the community. And I think anybody watching this show can see the enthusiasm from everybody on this show right now. Like, we're having fun. And at the end of the day, like, one of the basic human needs beyond water, food, and shelter is like community and engagement with other human beings. And right now in the world, we have a very divisive culture. We have a very divisive society, media, politics, everything is divisive. And I think that this is a, you know, bright light in a very dark world of where there is a lot of people who are being really cool with one another, helping each other learn about these different things. You know, before we started recording, Josh was just talking about how he's been helping tons of people get into it. They're asking, you know, Alan just talked about it himself. It's unbelievable to me, like how helpful people are, how nice people are. I mean, I just said, like, I'm communicating with one of my favorite reggae stars of all time, and I'm a big reggae fan. Like, I'm chatting with this dude on Twitter, like in direct messages, like not even in public Twitter. And like, that's crazy, right? Like, Snoop Dogg is liking Alan's Twitter, you know, tweets on about NFTs on Twitter. Like, this is an incredible thing. This isn't normal. This is something new, and it's exciting, and it's fun. And man,
no, I agree. Go ahead, sorry, Andy.
No, I don't have anything to add to that.
No, it also came at this incredible time where, you know, we have been locked up for a year, you know, and we needed the community. We needed to come out there, and it's hard, no matter how much you want to admit it. Like, you've been home, and you know, you're in your jogging pants for like a year. You're not really going out, and it's hard to kind of transition back to society for a lot of people. Yeah. This allowed them to just, you know, log in, and all of a sudden, you know, I've got more friends now with who I have no idea who they are. I don't even know like where they. I mean, their names are just something crazy. But you know, it's cool. It makes it, at the end of the day, it makes you happy, and it makes you like part of something. My wedding party, if I got married right now, would be fucking crazy, son.
So I was talking to this guy yesterday.
It's 5 p.m. UTC, correct?
UTC.
That's in 55 minutes.
That's 4 o'clock. Like, I'm sorry, it's 4 o'clock UTC right now, meaning that it's 4 hours ahead of the Eastern time zone. What is UK is 5 hours. Drew, you're 5 hours, right?
Yeah. You know what? It might be 1 o'clock. So the artist posted on Twitter. It will be.
I saw somewhere that it was 5 UTC.
Yes, and currently it is 4 UTC, so we still have time.
It's currently 4:04 UTC, so I think it's in an hour.
Yeah, so like I said, UTC is like kind of like to the left of Portugal, covers a little bit of that like West Africa and Iceland and shit like that. You know what I mean? So it's like that was my reference before. I was like, UTC is like in the ocean, you know? And,
yeah. Oh no! It's 4 p.m. UTC. 4
right
p.m.
now.
UTC.
That's what the artist posted, but I'm not sure if it's right. They usually start right on time, so I don't know what the art blocks. The one, I mean, everybody. Oh, it's open.
It's live. There you go.
It's live. We live. Let's go.
Let's go.
We paying gas up in this piece. Let's go. Confirm. I'm in. Oh wait, I needed to speed it up.
You need to speed it up. Big time.
I don't. Let's go.
Why is it not like working? Come on. There's 104 gone.
Oh man, I'm not paying $1,200 in gas, man. That's crazy.
You got to. You got to.
Do you
It's
pay
the
the
only
gas
way.
no matter what? Do you have to pay the gas even if you lose?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
You're
it's a
shit out of luck.
I just paid
How come every time I agree that I'm an
$585
expert, it won't let me go further?
Yeah, no, if you hit on the transaction and you scroll down, you'll actually see speed up again. But
Pay the miners. Pay the miners their money.
$1,200 in gas, but you could still lose it. You might not get it.
$1,348.
Why does it? I hit agree. Why does nothing else go after that? What's is that my?
65 out of 1,000 minted.
65.
Yeah, I
got
see that.
179 minted already.
What is it? What does Etherscan say your time is?
Oh, that's a good. Where can I see that? How do I see it on Etherscan?
Are you
I
looking
go to
at the
activity.
contract? I don't know. Oh, come on.
What do you, time last seen? 1 minute, 6-7 seconds.
And it says like estimated time of
Less than
estimated
45
time.
seconds.
That's good. You'll get there. You'll get there.
How do you tell?
Oh my God, the average now, like so fast is $1,600.
Oh my God.
The slow is 910.
Yeah, I'm at like a 1,200.
So you know what I'm going to do in this case? I'm actually going to cancel this transaction because I actually don't want to get charged the gas.
And you're gonna go bigger again. Yeah.
No, I'm not going to go bigger. I'm just because I'm only going to get one. This is crazy. I'm probably only going to get one.
You can get on secondary, probably less.
I'm
than
going
what it
for
costs
secondary.
gas.
I'm going to go for secondary rears right now.
Yeah. I like that move.
Because I'm not going to waste the $600 in gas. Like I would, but.
So if you cancel it, you end up paying less, right? You pay like less. You pay a little bit in gas or something. To cancel.
Yeah. So I lost $60 in gas instead of $600. Right?
So how do you tell where it's pending? How can you tell how long it's going to take?
You can't. You really
can't.
Where were
you just
saying?
don't know what other people are doing at the same time. Like while you think that you're there with the
So
higher
if
gas,
my
someone's
gas-
coming over the top with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's say we all put transactions in and we're all paying $500. Like we're all going to be crazy and pay this much gas. And we're first in, right? We got the orders in, but then, 10 other people come in, they're going to speed up. It's just like, a highway, right? So
Yeah. No, well, and this is like, it's great that we're doing this live because it's pretty, I think, illustrative of how some of this works, So I've never done a drop.
Yeah, I just canceled my shit. Forget it. I'm not paying that kind of gas. That's crazy.
The thing is, but
I
now,
don't even like these
now the
things that much.
the secondary will go ape shit for the next 24 hours.
That's right.
I mean, and then it will go down a little bit.
The secondary is probably even open now.
Yeah.
Where would the secondary be? On OpenSea?
Yeah, OpenSea, just search for glitch crystal monsters, but make sure it's art blocks. Here it is. Let's see if there's any sales here already.
For sure there is.
The meta, I can't find the meta. Here it is, property.
What do you even search for?
Search for glitch crystal monsters, and then number 262 or something should come up.
Huh.
Oh, these are
I don't know.
People listing around like 2 ETH right now.
Craziness. Craziness.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Well, I should have sped it up, but more than I did.
Here's
I didn't.
one.
Oh,
So yeah, I know. I was talking to.
So none of us actually
someone-
got the mint one? Really?
no.
Doesn't sound like it.
Well, did
What's the
anybody?
sales?
Crazy.
These are really good though, and they're part of the curated collection. So
Well, and did anybody pay the full gas? Did anybody do the full, like the fastest speed? I did the medium
I had
speed.
$1,200 of gas going.
I did the medium and it wasn't going anywhere. And then as I was following it on another page, and once I saw it was up to like 900 plus, like already minted, I canceled it. So
Oh yeah. Oh my God, they're all gone. Not 8 minutes later, 5 minutes later, all gone.
That's nuts.
It's crazy, man. And it's like, boom, it just, So it's interesting from an artist perspective because, do they hold back some of theirs, you think? Or what do you think is the...
No, I like on a collection like this, they usually don't. I mean, they might hold back a couple, I think, but I've seen projects where like a couple are minted or like 10 are minted, but there's 990 left. But I don't really see that very often. Which is kind of crazy. You would think the artist would want to keep one.
Well, yeah, because I think, that's what I think is interesting. And I see this with, Dario saying, I can butcher the name before, D Sienna, whatever, who has the mines stuff, which I think is really, really cool. But, all those that are selling for like 0.25 Ether and then immediately reselling, within 30 seconds for like 2 Ether. And then I saw there was 1 or 2 that were sold from him directly for like 1.7, whatever. Like, it's just interesting because as these artists are getting more and more popular, they have an opportunity to make even like, to make like right now, like this glitch crystal monsters, they could have just popped these off for probably an Ether each and sold 1,000 of them, no problem. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's crazy to me that
there's some getting listed at 1.5 right now.
Well, yeah. Which in some ways is cheaper.
Is that? I mean, that's basically what the gas cost.
You'll see some really good sales. These are really cool.
Well, and what's wild too, it's like,
these?
so then
I get the apes, but explain these to me.
No, see, this is the whole great thing about NFTs, I think, is that, a lot of people, you start off, you try to explain to them that it's just like a JPEG, but this is transforming everything, right? Like we all collect shit. And so, art blocks.
Did you see sorry, not to, but did you see the Gary V little like, it was like a selfie, he was just chatting. I don't even remember where he posted it, but he was saying exactly what you were just saying. He's like, look, collecting is human nature. All of us, we collect shit. It's human nature. And that's all this thing is it's just speaking to human nature.
No,
that's totally what I tell people. If I have to explain it to them why to like it, it's not. You don't do that. You either like it or you don't, and you're going to have to find it. I'm not going to make you like something. I'm going to show it to you, and then you can decide.
Well, and that was the thing about the apes, like they spoke to me because I thought they were super cool. The people, when I saw people posting, using them as on Twitter as their avatars and like, and then it was like, Shane and Josh and Alan and Morgan Linton, shout out to him. He was in the apes pretty early, like, so there are definitely people that were doing that stuff. And I was like, yo, this shit just seems cool. And then when I was looking at them, I was like, yo, these are really cool. I dig some of these a lot. And I mean, at first I didn't even know how OpenSea worked, right? So I'm taking pictures with my phone as I'm going through and then flipping through them later to figure out which ones. And then some are getting, I didn't even know how the shit worked. And, but real quick on the Gary V thing, I mean, Gary V's been pretty hip to NFTs for a while, and I saw another thing for him. He's got V friends, which, does anybody have any, do you have any V friends, Alan? You got any of those?
No, I completely missed the boat on that. I love, like, I think what he's done for the community and just, I think it's incredible. I think he's proven like what these things are more than just JPEGs. They're social tokens. They're, they're community and stuff. But I don't own any.
Well,
not yet.
So
I am going to buy one.
He posted a video where he years ago where he held up his sneaker or something. And he was kind of like, the digital collectibles, they're really going to pop off for people. It's like their digital identity. Everybody likes to flex the things that they have. Drew, we were talking about this about Rolexes the other day, right? Because it's this idea that, but this lets people who spend 90% of their life online on their phone, social media, it starts to give people a way to expand on their identity, to flex, like to show people what they're about. Like, he said, people would wear Nike sneakers because they want people to know, like, oh, I like Nike, and that's part of who I am and part of my own brand, my identity. Boombox, playing music loud, like I want people to know what I'm listening to, so they know I listen to cool shit, or like know what I'm about based on the music that I listen to, right? And it's like, so our social media presences allow us to do that. NFTs allow us to kind of flex in a combined way to say, hey, look, I'm hip. This is the shit that's cool that I'm into. Oh, by the way, I've got money because like, look at some of the hot shit that's like rare or like sought after that I've got.
You got money, Sonny.
You know what I mean? And it's like, so, and he's like,
I might not have money, but I got ETH.
hey man, cash is trash. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you got Ether, man. Like you rich, son. If you got enough.
Oh
Ether.
Man, yo, this guy posted one up for 1.05. I was like, buy it now. And the dude canceled it. Now we've got it at 10.
Yeah.
No, someone else bought it. Someone else bought it.
No, they're selling. Yeah.
Yeah,
well, that's what's crazy with so many.
So quickly.
So many of these, the ones that are minting at like low values, like 0.1, even 0.25, depending on what it is, that do represent a lot of opportunities. And you could tell because there's a lot of people that are diving in on this shit. And like, once the word gets out, what's crazy is this is something that you see all the time. We are still way early in this shit, because as much as people that when you say, hey, what are, you try to explain what NFTs are all about or Bored Apes, people look at you like you're crazy, right? I mean, at least now they're kind of hip, like, oh, okay, it's like cryptocurrency, you know what I mean? Because so it's almost like, as people are getting over the hump for these different things. And it's like, I think that NFTs, there are what, 4,500 Bored Ape holders right now. And at some point, though, I don't think you're going to get more than, like, the more unique holders is kind of an interesting metric to see how popular this stuff is, right? So now you got 10,000 potential apes. They're all unique. Some have more shared traits than others, and that's obviously all the rarity stuff we've been talking about. They're pushing up. I think it's actually now somewhere between 4,700 and 4,800 unique owners of apes. Once you get to 6,000, 7,000, I mean, there's enough of us who have multiple apes who really aren't ever going to want to sell our apes, right?
Right.
So then you're going to get to a point where you're almost going to have this one-to-one situation where in order to actually get an ape, you're going to have somebody willing to give up their ape. And I think that at some point that gets to be like, the demand is so high that, as long as apes remain popular, because so people are clear, there are a lot of these avatar projects, these derivative avatar projects that are coming out that are like apes. There's bulls, there's aliens. There's literally, like, at this point, probably 100 of them, but apes are considered like, actually, like, the OGs, they're cool, just under the crypto punks like we were talking about. So not all these are necessarily going to like make it and work, you know what I mean? But if the apes retain their popularity and continue to kind of go on the track that, and some of this is also the team that's behind it. What is
it's the team? The team behind Bored Apes are by and far as good as it gets. Like, they are as good as it gets. Like, this next announcement, I guarantee, will blow everyone's mind again. Apes are going to skyrocket for a good, 48 hours, because they'll just do something that is innovative. They'll do something that's innovative.
Zootang.
I'd like to make a comparison, because there's a lot of like domain name audience here too, right?
Yeah,
so like they like Shane is the one that put me onto this. Like, I'm not really a big physical like collector of stuff, right? I kind of like the digital stuff. But there was some, and I don't know if these are real, Shane, or not, but you posted some picture where you have pictures of your apes kind of in some living room or something.
Yeah.
And so I ordered a couple, pictures for the frame. But but like to compare it to domain name investors, like investing in domains, we have to remember, like, it's not just owning the ape. Like, if you offer me 20 ETH for that space ape, I'm not going to do it, because now I've got investment in art, I've got investment in just other things, like, and there's some brand, like, whatever, it's just like a domain. You start using it for utility reasons, whether it's personal or professional, and it's going to take a lot to like take those away. So the more you have the apes in your t-shirt, the more it's worth. Right?
So the new thing, so I ordered 3 televisions with frames, and I'm hanging them up, and I'm switching out those NFTs. Like, I got 3 pickles that I put at the time. I put 3 apes out, whatever. It just changes. I can put up whatever I want. It looks just like a print, but I can put anything I buy up there, even my art blocks.
The digital frames.
It's a TV, but it's got a little like, it's got no bezel. So when I put the picture up, it looks like it has a frame on it.
That's awesome.
And you can't tell that it's not, because it's LED.
Our tech guy, Paul, is his shit, right, that he's put us onto, is they've got the medallions where you could literally put your ape like on like a Flavor Flav chain. You know what I'm saying?
Awesome.
Well, people are putting it on their watches all the time.
People are getting Bored Ape tattoos. You know what I'm saying? People are literally getting Bored.
Yeah, that's some other.
But this is what's crazy. But I mean, and this is again going back to being so early. But I think the total amount of accounts on OpenSea at the moment are what, 30,000? Is that something like that? Like 35,000 individual accounts on OpenSea right now. And it's like, 4,000 ape holders. That's like as many people that go to a NamesCon. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we're still way early in this shit. And, you know, to your point, Alan, you know, I get hit up a lot with people that are like, hey, I'm trying to do blank with apes or NFTs. Can we use your ape? If we sell this, you get a percentage, right? So all of a sudden it's like some of these that have, you know, so there's almost like an opportunity to start getting passive type of residual income coming in from allowing your ape to participate in your NFT. And some apes like Ghost, like I'm a big Ghosts fan, and Ghost is like,
I love Ghost.
It's spelled Ghost, but the O is an X. That's kind of how dude does his thing. It's all hand-drawn stuff. If you own certain ghosts, you get certain things airdrop. So if you've got a Zodiac ghost, which I have an Aquarius, and you know, so every month there's a new drop that comes in if you've got a Zodiac. If you've got a demon or like two that combine, you get some other shit. Like, so there's some really unique things that come into this. Or there's also this other thing called the House of Kiba, which is like you buy the NFT, but it's almost like having it's a membership, and then they just do random drops into your wallet for, you know, for different stuff. And or there was one just yesterday where the Cool Cats, if you had a Cool Cat did a collaboration with Ghost, where Ghost did a hand-drawn Cool Cat that got dropped in your wallet if you had a Cool Cat. It dropped in, it didn't cost you anything, and people were immediately selling them for 0.2 ETH, which, you know, at the current market is like $400, which is like, you know, look, we talk about 15,000 for an ape and all this, but a couple $100 just showing up in your wallet randomly is a big deal. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and some of these will continue to be sort of these investments that'll keep on providing value. And if they retain value themselves, their assets, just like, and people have been buying art forever. I've been saying this about NFTs for months since we've really started getting into this, is that, you know, the thing people also have to remember, people have been buying art to put on their walls for fucking ever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So art has always had value if it's the right stuff in the right medium, in the right, you know, momentum and time and everything else. So it's like, if this is that, which it is, at least for this subset, this niche of people that are all into NFTs at the moment. And it's like, and now you've got companies that are all starting to do NFTs. Drew's idea about the Rolex shit, Drew, I don't want to steal your thunder on that. I thought that was a dope idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's crazy that, you know, Rolex should immediately be rolling out digital Rolexes with matching serial numbers. So if you own a Rolex, boom, you can come in and for, you know, 0.1 ETH, come in and mint your Rolex, and it's an identical Rolex, your Rolex, and you can take that with you in the metaverse, and you can wear it, you can use it, you show it off, you put it in your Twitter handle, you can do whatever you want with it. But somebody in marketing at Rolex is sleeping on that. Rolex, I would argue, is the most iconic, let's say, status symbol there is. I maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody else has got some better, you know. But I think a Rolex basically is the most iconic status symbol there is, and I think, you know, they're sleeping by not doing that. And I think that will be the future, and everybody's going to want to do that. You go and you buy a brand new Range Rover, great. You can get your serial number matching Range Rover in the metaverse. And, you know, you can rock it. You know, you're driving around in the metaverse in your Range.
You could put it on your avatars. You know, you could put it like, you literally get an avatar. It's just like rock, you know, like on social media.
Nobody else can have a Range unless you own a Range. And you know, when you get the, you know, if you buy it new, it means that you get to mint the you know, the digital NFT. And there might be somebody that's like, look, I don't own a Range in the real world, but I'm gonna go buy the NFT from somebody that does. And doesn't value the NFT, right? And there's a market dynamic there, and that's exciting. Like, that's the shit that gets me excited. Is, you know, I love price discovery and you know, like, people trying to figure out where the value falls. And for me, it might fall in, you know, the real Range Rover, but for somebody else, they'd much rather have the digital one. So I buy a brand new Range Rover, I get the serial number matching NFT. And I'm like, I don't even know what to do with this. And I go and I sell it on OpenSea. And, you know, some kid who wants to have that Range Rover while they're, you know, in the metaverse, or they're in Grand Theft Auto or whatever it might be, they're going to come buy it. And you know, that is exciting. I think that's awesome.
And there's
that was a huge point for me too. Because I was thinking about like Tesla, for example. Like I don't own one, but I from what I know, there's like a backlog. Like if you order a Tesla, like you're like 3 or 6 month wait list or whatever. I'm not sure, but the whole NFTs, like, said, well, what if Tesla? What if you put a down payment on Tesla? They gave you an NFT for, you know, for the price of the down payment or whatever. But then just because of that NFT, you now have a whole second market, aftermarket, of people wanting to buy that NFT to jump the line.
Mhm.
So now you pay $2,000 down or $10,000 down or whatever. You get an NFT for free, but that NFT is worth $10,000 because people want to jump the line.
Yeah.
Like price discovery, just getting in line, exclusivity. I mean, there's so much more than JPEG here.
Oh, well, and I think that's another thing. So we talked about the metaverse. So for folks, this is also for folks who aren't totally hip to all the different, there's different metaverses now, which is basically these online realities, right? So, what used to be Second Life, if people remember that, but it's like a video game. And now they've got Sandbox, Decentraland. So these places where you go online with your online avatar. And literally, they've now set up stores and businesses are establishing their online presence, not just on a website, but actually like as a, in the metaverse, as a storefront in the metaverse. People are literally building buildings. They're like, hey, if you want to put up, if you want to have an office in my metaverse building, like, come on, it's all good. Like we're over here at lot 2375. And some of these are now, tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy this real estate in these places because you've got actual traffic and that's where people are going. And what's wild, it's also like Ready Player One, if anybody read the book or saw the movie, which is like envisioning this dystopian future where the world sucks. So everybody like literally goes to school and work. And so much of their life they spend putting a VR rig on their head. And then they go in the metaverse, and that's where they attend school. That's where they walk around. They play games. They go to clubs. They party. They do all that kind of stuff in the metaverse. The crazy thing is that, and I loved Ready Player One. I love the book. The movie wasn't as good to me as the book, but I thought the book was awesome, and I enjoyed the movie. What's crazy is that that's not that far in the future. That is happening right now. Facebook just announced yesterday they are shifting away. They no longer want to be, their future is not as a social media company, but as a metaverse company, right? So when they bought Oculus, so that's all tying into this idea that they're combining people, their friends, their, the different applications, the games, all that kind of shit. They want all that shit to go down in the metaverse. This is no longer, I'm just going to go check my social media account and just see what people were posting on my wall. Instead, it's like they want people to truly enter their fucking computer, right? Like go into their, call it virtual reality or whatever, but go into the metaverse and engage and live their life in there. So for Facebook's benefit, they want to just serve up ads and apps and all sorts of crazy stuff and everything. So that people just spend money or they'll sell your activity and they'll track and all that good shit that they do. But you've now, like, this is where this is going. And, the idea that NFTs are a key part of this, right? Because if you own a Bored Ape, you were gifted into your wallet a Bored Ape hoodie that your avatar in Decentraland could wear around to show that, hey, I'm down with the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Again, this is all that status part of what your virtual identity, your digital identity is, the extension of your physical identity into your digital identity, all tied together in the metaverse. There's going to be winners, losers. Some things are going to work, some things aren't. But all of this stuff is all culminating in this crazy kind of whirlwind and tornado of stuff that's just wild and exciting. So,
I'll say one thing. Go ahead, Andrew.
No, go ahead, Alan.
I'll say that probably the most interesting quote I heard, I think it was Gary Vee, I'm not sure, but it was over the last couple of weeks, is like, you need to have an open mind and try to like understand this space. Just because you don't like apes or you don't like, JPEGs or whatever, is that it could be anything. It could be shoelaces, it could be like whatever. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean there's not hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of other people that do like it. Yeah. So learn about it. You don't have to like it, but profit. You like profit.
That's what it comes down to for us, right? We do digital assets. Like, and this is why I explain to people where they're like, okay, how does this tie into what you do? It's like, look, domains are, Drew was like, no, they're not the original NFT. We're not going to go into that whole thing, but domains are digital assets, right? NFTs, cryptocurrency, digital assets. It all falls under this umbrella. Like, if you don't think it all ties together, and whether you're talking about standard, typical domain names and .coms, all to, different extensions to the decentralized web and everything else. Like, if you as a domainer and a domain investor are so myopically focused on what is traditional domaining, I think you're going to miss a lot. Look at Hiram Patel, man. Shout out to dude. Like, he's gotten into the mix, like, within the last like a lot of us, right? I mean, he got in a month ago. He got in later than us because we got in a month before that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, oh, hey, we're like, even the OGs are still relatively new. And I think that's why it's also important to approach this, Alan, in the way that you suggest, which is even if you don't fully like, dig something or like something, if you're really trying to have a business or, a job or make money in the space, you have to have an open mind and understand. You have to be intellectually curious. I mean, that's one thing I say about.
Yo, by the way, not to interrupt you, but I'm gonna interrupt you. The Floor Ape, it's been the Floor Ape for several days now, 2, 3, 4 days. He's been the Floor Ape. He just sold.
Yeah, boom. So
Floor Ape just went from 6.75 up.
Call me hat with the eyes popping out.
Yeah, with the eyes popping out. He's gone. Dunsky.
And I don't even like, and that's the thing. I don't
call
like.
Call me hat with eyes popping out.
Yeah, he was ugly as sin. But he was the Floor Ape, and so somebody's coming in. He's as a value investor.
But going back to what I was saying really quick. But hiring to me is like kind of like, sort of really is sort of the way, right? Because I think as domainers, you have to be willing to, or you're just going to miss a ton of opportunities. I mean, because we've all made money now buying and selling NFTs. We may not be completely in the black, depending on
I've
what
only spent money. Like. I have not made money. I've only spent money.
We love you, Andrew.
You can turn around and
I could make money if I
you can sell right now. And
you made a profit on your 4 Ape, right? The one you just sold to Jack.
Yeah, you made money on paper, man. I mean, it's all good. My point is this, like, and it's still so early, right? I mean, if you're like, oh, I've been in this for 30 days and I'm not rich yet, like, okay, like, that mentality is not going to work anyway. But my point is that, I think for a lot of the domain folks who are kind of belly aching on Twitter and whatnot and saying, oh, I'm going to put Bored Ape Yacht Club is a term that I'm not going to like, that I'm going to ignore on Twitter and not see it and all that kind of stuff. Like, I get it. You don't want a lot of that noise and maybe some of the rah-rah shit might not be your thing. But I do think that if you're spending a good chunk of your life investing in digital assets and you're not at least somewhat open to what NFTs are bringing to the table, unless you're Rick Schwartz and you're selling property.com for for $36 million or whatever that, then you're asleep at the switch, because this is where this is going.
Domainers know this is where it's going. I mean, literally we just sold this just 5 seconds ago on DNWE, buy-sell-NFTs.com just sold. Not for a small amount. Like domainers know that NFT that they know. So,
and these things might not be the future, but I think these will be the precursors to what the future will be. I mean, and it's like just having a pulse and being in the mix. And to Drew's point, this shit has been a lot of fucking fun. Alan said the same thing. Alan was like, yo, he's like, I'm more energized than I've been in years, in this space because of what's happening with NFTs and how exciting and how much fun this stuff is. And it's like, and I would agree, man. I mean, there's an energy here that's just really, really cool. And
I think there's another thing too. Shane, you've pointed this out over the years. You've been a really big advocate of new people coming in and actually doing really well. People that started in domains a year ago, 3 years ago, if they start doing well, you're usually a pretty big advocate about like sharing their posts and, it's a good cheerleader, right? And so I think in this industry, one has to differentiate from the people who got in like really early, like 6 months, a year ago, whatever, then people that entered a month or two ago and have learned, have really risked their money. And instead of buying something for like a dollar, selling it for $10,000, like, 6 months later, because for people that literally came in and purchased the apes and understood the trades, and they didn't mint them, but they actually like ended up making, they came in late and they succeeded. I mean, it's like domains. I mean, like I wasn't one of the first people that minted like 1,000 domain names. I rose, I think you came in a couple years to like, even Frank Schilling came in like 2002, 2003. And then there's like, a lot of people, Steve McDonald. I mean, like, he's done some tremendous acquisitions, and Josh and everybody else. So
shout out.
I like the second wave of people in most industries. I shouldn't say I like. I learned more from the second and third waves than the first.
Wave, son, third wave.
The third wave is where the money gets made, though. The third wave is always where the money gets made.
Yeah. Don't be in like the 6th or 7th wave. You'll be chasing your entire life.
No, but then you're just buying. Then you're just buying what Drew owns.
No. Then I'm just hustling and selling.
Hey, listen, I always leave a little meat on the bone.
And this goes back to what I was saying about hiring, where I think
How you
that,
keep the wolves off.
but just because I want to finish this point, you know, because I know he also listens to the show, and like, you know, and I think for him, like, you know, he's kind of what I see as sort of, you know, this next wave of domainers that are getting hip to NFTs because they recognize that there's value there, right? And these are smart, analytical guys who, you know, folks, not just guys, but folks who, you know, who understand that there's, you know, there's opportunity, there's money.
There
to
are
be made,
there are
you know
plenty.
what I mean?
There are
So
plenty.
it's like,
So like, I think shout out to Doran. He bought a couple of apes. He bought a couple of apes. He asked me, you know, what apes should I buy? I said, go for these ones. He's in. He's got his dogs. Barman, Bar Frenek. He's got his ape, and he was like really against NFTs for a little while. But like the thing is, and you know what the common denominator is? These guys are all good domain investors that got in recently.
Yeah.
All good domain investors.
Yeah.
They all sell loads of domains. They got into domaining when it wasn't easy, and they're doing really well.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, when they muted it, you know, I took it kind of personally because I felt like, you know, after 10 years, I kind of have a proven track record. When I touch something or do something, it's always done well. I have the patience to wait things out. Like you know, you saw the text with Josh. I was like, no, don't sell. Like,
I know.
What are you doing?
Just told you, Josh.
Sit still, tape your arms to the chair and wait this one out. It's going to cost you a lot of money. And
share the wealth. I share the wealth.
Yeah, but the conversation was worth it. But I mean, it just, when people say I'm going to mute Bored Apes, I'm like, this is just a moment in time. Like, if you want to follow people on Twitter, you're following them because who they are, not because of what they do. Like, you're not following because they're domain investors. That might have been the original reason, but you get to know people and watch how they make money and what they do in their hobbies, and try and improve yourself or your money game by watching them. And so when you mute people out because they do something within a period of time that's not what you like, I think that's so stupid. Just don't follow them then. If you don't want to see what they're doing, then don't follow them.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, it's sure a nice one, because I bragged about, I shouldn't say brag, but I sat around with my wife picking out an ape, and she's like, I like that one. I'm like, I don't know, that one's 0.58 ETH. Like, that's a lot more money, and I don't know if I want to spend that much money. I got 3 apes and I spent 3 ETH. Like, that's
wow, that's great.
crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well,
and I got 3 dogs with it too. So I've got, I don't, you know, let's say 30, I got 40 ETH for 3 ETH. And so I don't care what you say, it's going to pay for all the other stuff I don't do right. And you shouldn't have muted it.
He's like, I'll show you, teach you to mute me. But I will say this:
that people are not in that are not in NFTs. You can't really understand it. That's the thing. You can't really understand it until you get in.
You can replace the word NFT with domain names, Bitcoin, Ethereum, crypto. You know, anything new and let's say edgy, anything that's pushing the boundaries, people get uncomfortable. It makes people uncomfortable. And so, you know, I would argue the reason that people who have been successful in domains are successful in NFTs is because we don't easily get uncomfortable. We are risk takers inherently. We're risk takers. We are, you know, we like to push the frontier. You know, that is in our nature. You cannot be successful in domain names, particularly if you've come into the game late, without being a risk taker. This is not a liquid market. You need to be able to lay down real cash to buy a domain name in the hopes or in the belief that you're going to sell it to somebody else for a higher price. And you have to, there's a bunch of analytics that go into that, right? There's a bunch of there's a confidence thing that goes into that. There's a risk-taking thing that, you know, there's all these elements that make up the personality of somebody who is a successful domain investor. And the same things apply to whether it's Bitcoin or NFTs or it doesn't matter. And, you know,
I think it's challenging for from an outside perspective to really get this stuff. Like if you're buying like a car, you know, if you're collecting 1957 whatever car and they're all like $50,000-$60,000 or whatever, it's pretty like, you know, you have an industry supporting the advertising, you have an industry marketing the same price range, all that stuff. In domain names, it's really complicated because you have the elephants, and they're really all they're doing is telling you a domain is $8, right? So you have this, you know, world of advertising that is promoting cheap domains. But you know, those of us in the industry understand like that's crazy talk, right? I mean, like people pay
Well,
millions.
here's how I was explaining it on demand. It all comes down to how much somebody wants whatever you got. Doesn't really matter what's in your hand. But I couldn't sell JHM for $30,000, but I had people clamoring over my monkeys for $25,000. So you tell me which one's more important. Oh, domains are the end all. More people wanted my monkey than my domain.
Yeah, you were like, oh, I'll trade the apes for the domain name, and
no, and everybody wants
it.
the apes. Nobody wanted the domain name. So you tell me how much utility matters and how much demand. It comes down to how many people are willing to shell out the money. And I can guarantee you I can sell my ape faster than my three-letter.com.
Get money.
Media Options is the industry's leading domain broker specializing in domain acquisitions, high-value domain sales, and domain name consultation. As pioneers and thought leaders on the subject of the domain aftermarket and domain name value, plus through their clear domain acquisition service, Media Options offers startups and established corporations an unparalleled scope of high-value domain options, providing access to domain names and curation technologies not available elsewhere. Media Options believes in the power of a great domain name and is dedicated to helping you obtain yours. Call or email today to put a domain to work for you.
People want to see utility, right? Which is when they're outside of the NFT space, which is, I think, one of the more challenging things. And at some point, we can talk about utility because there's a lot of utility that people don't understand, right? And
Talk about Zedrun. Talk about Zedrun, man.
I mean, so Zedrun for me, I think is the ultimate utility for the type of space that we're in. I mean, and Zedrun is popping, by the way. They just raised, I think, 20 million from.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah.
So for people who don't know, Zedrun is basically
100 million.
digital horse racing, right? So I mean, it's digital horse racing, but you breed the horses. You can breed them together. You could sell the horses. You could race for money. So go ahead, Josh, break that down just a little bit for everybody, because I think it's important. Because this is, like you said, this is a great utility case.
So it's built on the blockchain. It's built on Polygon, which used to be called Matic, and it's essentially like an online casino, but better, because you can do, it's more than just gambling. It's more than just, betting on horses or whatnot. You're actually able to buy horses, breed horses, trade horses, and then race the horses and earn the winnings from the racing. And then betting on the horses is something that is coming down the road as well. So you could just be completely out. So
I could bet on your horse.
You could bet on my horse, exactly. Oh, yeah. So and I mean, there are 63,000 members in the Zedrun Discord. 63,000, and I think there's something like 40,000 stables, and it's early. And I mean, this is I mean, I'm talking about lots of money that is being invested into this product, because the product is proper gamification
of the NFTs is in a lot of ways where it's at. I mean, not to cut you off.
The product is incredible. You can watch the races in 3D. The whole breeding system, the random number generation for creating, and good horses versus bad horses. I mean, there's a whole odds system, right? So all of your horse's chances of winning are based on odds. And, if you've got a horse with bad odds, you probably shouldn't be racing it. But there are a lot of people that don't even race their horses. They just have a business of breeding. And I'm talking a real business. They're making a lot of money from breeding horses and then selling their horses unraced. And honestly, it's for me, it's the ultimate utility, and I find it like fascinating.
Well,
and
the
community is huge.
Just wait till we start racing these dogs.
That's what I was gonna say.
That's what I'm hoping. Well,
that's
what I'm
hoping.
Neon Sanders is going to get us paid, man.
But he's not a cheater. He's not a cheater.
He's
not a cheater.
But listen, hold up. I want to get an opinion from the expert panel here. So I happened to notice this morning when I go into my wallet, okay? Let's see, let me go in here. If you look at your apes, there's a little in OpenSea, okay? You go into your wallet in OpenSea, go into your profile, you look at your apes, down at the bottom of the ape, there's a little snowflake. And that snowflake means that the trait, the characteristics, the metadata of the NFT is frozen. Mm-hmm. If you go look at your dogs, that is not the case. So that tells me that they have plans to, whether it's going to happen automatically or whether you're going to be able to opt into it or whatever. There's going to be changes to these dogs. You're going to be able to do things with these dogs that is not currently in the NFT that you see there. The metadata can and likely will be changed in some way in the future. Am I full of it? Am I reading too much into this? What do you guys think?
I think that's a good. I think that's a clever observation.
I think it's one of the most insightful things. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, that's great. You're spot on.
I haven't seen that talked about. I haven't seen that talked about outside of right now, and I think that it's a really.
I just happened to be.
They just launched this yesterday or the day before. The meta tag.
The snowflake.
Indicators if it's frozen or not. Yeah, the snowflake. I actually didn't know what the snowflake was till Andrew just mentioned it. I knew they had released to see if you can see if the metadata was frozen, but I didn't know what indicated that till Andrew just said it.
Yeah, which is interesting.
I want another opinion. While we were all just speaking here, I convinced myself that there is going to be dog racing and dog breeding and all this stuff, and so I just bought another dog.
Which one did you buy?
Number 177. Now tell me that isn't a clean dog.
Ooh, wow, that's dope.
He goes with my new hip hop ape with the sunglasses and the gold chain.
Yo, I didn't even.
Wait, what was he? What number?
That is a 177. Also a low number, and I have to say I'm hip to these low numbers. I like them.
Yeah,
177. Yeah, he's cool.
Dude, what?
You paid 3.5 for him?
Yeah, I overpaid, but look, I'm the king of overpaying. I just overpay for the.
I like this premium. I love this one. I
want champagne, and I'm willing to overpay.
See, I've seen so many that have such better rarity ranks but this is cleaner than thousands of them.
Oh, I don't care at all about the rarity. It's
either do I.
This dog is clean. He's he got the gold chain. He's got the sunglasses. He's cool. He's got a smile on his face.
Yeah.
I love this dog. I want to have him as a pet.
JT, check out 5466. You got to get this guy for your.
Meanwhile,
Shane's
got that smile, and he's like, "Man, I've only spent 3, and I got 3."
I'm laughing because I only buy one kind of dog. I only buy the one-eyed Cyclops. Like I think that those.
This guy's.
I think those dogs are going to be the most valuable when it's all said and done.
This is what makes a market.
Why didn't I?
This is what makes a market.
I didn't see the cheetah ape. I don't know.
I got a DTM with a rocket launcher. I gotta find the number.
Oh, because that's why.
Clean one-eyed dogs. I'm telling you, that's your way. The floor is already 3. And it's going to go.
Well, the actual floor is 2.25 right now.
Not of a dog, but not for a Cyclops.
No, for like a dog, just a dog in general.
Oh yeah, no Cyclops. I'm telling you, I think Cyclops will be a double floor soon because there's just not that many of them. And when they're clean looking, I don't know how it's going to be racing wise, but when breeding comes and you can get one-eyed dogs, and I think it's going to be cool.
I mean, I'm with it. I want to get one with the sushi thing because that's actually the thing I want to match him to. But I guess I could, because his dog's not available, and his dog it's a mind's eye dog actually. But
I wish I knew that. I sold one last week for like 2.5. It was ranked like top 300 or something. But it was a sushi one. I just didn't want. So
which one was it?
I had a top 200 dog. I sold him for 1.5.
Yeah, Drew got really bearish.
I had a top 300. I sold him for 0.9. I had a 2.5 offer on him like a week before. I was just I needed to put him into a horse. I needed a horse, man. It was just
sell your horse.
Yeah, the one I
sold your horses, literally.
Hold your horses.
Alan, which one did you sell?
6831.
6831. Ooh, that's pretty cool. He's got a lot going on, man. He's got like all sorts of robotic shit. He's got the robotic back legs. What is that? I don't even know that I've seen that before. Oh, because he's the cyber.
So by the way, I also got two of these glitch crystal monsters.
Yeah, it was ranked 231. That one was.
Those glitch crystal monsters they're all one of ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Absolutely. Yeah.
This is the stuff that just got minted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 2 of them. I got one for 1.5 4.9, and one for 1.5.
I've got to decide about
Which
that.
is-
I think I do want to buy one more dog, and I just have to. I think I will get, but I think I want the sushi headband to match him to my new sushi ape because he's the one who doesn't have his dog. My cheetah ape is the one who technically has Neon Sanders. You know what I mean? So it's like, but if the dogs are going to race, the cheetah dogs are probably going to be. But who knows? That's the thing. It's like, is it cheetah? Is effective?
Who knows?
So here's what you
Who
do: you
knows?
buy 4 bulls on the block, get your bear,
Yeah.
sell them all, and buy a dog.
Listen to Shane. Listen to Shane right now.
I tell you what, those balls on the block really piss me off.
No,
because
but they're dropping these sweet bear, like the bears.
I
are-
Bears
know.
are pretty cool.
I
Bears are
sold all
pretty
my balls. I sold all my balls because they looked terrible. They were just like I went off them
Yeah.
completely because I went off them, and now the bears actually
So-
look pretty cool.
The Bears
So
are.
buy
So, but
4
that's-
bulls and then sell everything after.
Well,
they-
I think it's really important, like what Josh just said, like, and what Shane just said, is that these guys that launch these drops, you can have a really shitty collection, and it can go from 0.1 ETH to 0.01 ETH, nothing. But they have a community of 10,000 people, and the smart founders can even sell that, and then it would instantly drop to these people and stuff. Like you're not necessarily holding a bad token. You're just holding a ticket to what may come. So
Yeah,
it's almost worth holding one of any. Like if you buy something and 10 of them and they all go south, it might be worth keeping 1 or 2 just in case.
Well, I do think you're right. I think
it's what Jason Calacanis says. He says, anytime you invest in anything, you never sell 100%. You always keep 10% for schmuck insurance because you never know what could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
and
no,
especially if it's like, hey, you're about to sell out, like you bought something that you didn't love and you're going to sell it for 0.05 ether or something. And it's like, you know what, at that price, you might as well just
Not
sit
worth
on it.
it,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because if
yeah,
it does pop off, then, there's at that point, you just look at it like it's already lost money. So that if it really does take off, then it's like, you've given yourself that kind of cushion. So what do you guys think about dog number 8925? Drew doesn't love him because he's got the flippers. 8925.
Oh, I don't like the flippers.
Flippers
I
are
don't like the
turn off.
flippers.
Flippers are turn off.
I like clean feet. I want
How do you
clean
race in
feet.
how do you race in flippers?
What if it's water?
But
What if
here's
they're
the deal.
swimming?
Listen
It's a
to
yacht
this.
club. He's got to
Listen to
swim
this.
off the boat, man. He's gonna be fast. What if it's swimming? What if the dogs swim because it's yacht club? So what if it's not dog racing but dog swimming? And flippers are gonna end up being the jam. You know what I'm saying?
They'll never be.
I really wish I had dogs with flippers to sell you right now.
Yeah, me too.
I know. Hey, look, I'm not buying. I'm just saying. All right, what about this one then? Tell me what you think about this dog. 8340.
Hold on, I'm too busy. I got to look up. I'm trying to figure out something.
8340. To match my hip hop ape with the sushi headband.
No, hot dog. I'm out on hot dogs. None of that.
Now
All right.
look at 4156. That's what dogs should look like. 4156. That's the dog you put with.
You love
You,
those.
you don't want to know what dogs should look
Love
like.
those
Dogs should
Cyclops
look
stuff.
like solid gold. That's
Yeah,
what they
no,
should
that's
look
true.
like.
Dude, I'm telling you, the dog that got burned, the dog or that never got minted is so
Yeah.
dope. And it's like the fact that they didn't get minted makes it even crazier. All right. Well, so in the same kind of bucket with the sushi headband, what about dog number? This guy is 707 rarity.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Get him. DMT. Get him.
What's the number?
3337.
3337. That's the one. 3.9 ETH. You gotta go for it.
Oh, that's a nice one. I like that.
Yeah, that's by far better.
That DMT is like crazy, man. That DMT shit is just wild. And DMT is like, that's because it's like,
Yeah, but then JT's got to explain what DMT is to his kids.
exactly. They're like, why has he got all the eyes on him? And it's like, don't worry about it. Like it's all good. Anyway, all right. Well, let's, I'm going to figure it out. Otherwise I'm going to.
Or I tell you what you could do, JT, because you've got a cheetah ape, but you don't have a cheetah dog, right?
Correct. I could go with like the
You
one
could
of
go.
those two.
You could go with 3438.
I know. I do like him a lot. I do.
You
I
go
was looking.
3438. You get the sushi headband with the cheetah skin, and you got some 3D sunglasses with that.
So on that same note, do you like that one or do you like 5589? 5589 doesn't have the 3D glasses. He's got a little bit more of a, he's got the bone collar thing.
Yeah, I prefer him.
Which one? The
I
cleaner
prefer him.
one?
So while we're talking,
one. I prefer 5589, the cleaner one. Yeah.
Do you think that having the matching number ape and dog is going to have any value in the future?
I don't think so.
The Bored Ape Yacht Club.
This will be the last thing we'll talk about.
Wait. They confirmed that. Bored Ape Yacht Club confirmed that it doesn't.
The same number doesn't matter?
That the same number doesn't matter. Yeah.
Okay, so here's my theory. Here's my theory on the dog drop is that they very specifically made it so that the dogs that drop to a particular ape are not matching traits. And so specifically because, like, let's say you got a matching trait ape, you wouldn't sell it. It would just stay with your ape. And so what they want to do is create market activity. And so by dropping them random, it forces people to say, oh shit, okay, I want to do what JT's doing right now. I want to sell this ape to go get the ape that matches the traits of my ape. And, I think that's precisely what has happened.
And that's a fair point because if you remember when they released the dogs, the percentage of the secondary market sales went to no kill shelters, right? So that
they want to mix it up. They want activity.
They wanted sales because the sales would ultimately also lead to the and that's what some of these folks are doing too, which is really cool. Like the elephants, I'm not a huge fan of the elephants, but a certain portion of the sales of the elephants that came out were to, went out to, the different charities and things for that kind of stuff. So, but they wanted activity. It's a bummer for me because I've got 2 apes that match their dogs, you know what I mean? Numbers wise, what I think is kind of wild. I have seen a few though, where the numbers match and the traits match as well. So I was like, damn, that's super cool.
Yeah. That's pretty interesting because of the rarity.
Guys, did you ever hear of this artist, Tom Sachs? TOMSACHS.com.
No.
Glad you spelled the Tom
rings
part
a
for
bell.
No. I tell you what, somebody
HOM, man. Something like Tom. You know what I'm saying?
No, somebody that just
let the man talk.
Somebody that just shared some info with me. I guess he just announced he's giving out free NFTs and for a little bit.
All right.
So if you go to Tom Sachs, which is SACHS, rocketfactory.com. Apparently he's just getting, I don't know how long it's going to last, but it's a good example of how stuff like moves so fast in this industry though. I mean, this could be nothing. I have no idea, but the flow of information. I mean,
maybe Joe Ruiz and I will give some NFT drop to people that own the same number, ape and dog.
I'll do that. Let's do that, man. Give me some props for my boy Joe Ruiz because he's dope. But here's something about Tom Sachs Rocket Factory, right? It's like, okay, cool. You got to to get it, you got to connect your wallet, right? So then there's this leap of faith where you're like, okay, I don't know, you're getting this information from Twitter, Discord, or whatever, and it's like, yo, this could be some shit that could turn into a $10,000 basically boon for you, or you could get all your shit stolen. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely, yeah.
I'm not saying this is a scam. I mean, I think this is cool, and I'm not saying that, but I think it's also shows you an interesting thing. It's this flow of information is happening so quickly in real time. And it's which is also why it's important that you do your research and you figure out where you're getting your information from. Because Alan, you tell me to go somewhere and log in and connect all my shit, I'm doing it because I trust you. I know you. It's all good. I know you're on your shit. But people have to be careful because, they could be on a random Discord and see, oh, hey guys, everybody should click this link and go get this fucking free thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And the next thing you know, it turns into some absolute, mess, which I think is also why having I feel like we're kind of blessed because we've got this group of folks that know their shit. We've all had success. We're all doing this kind of in the same sort of kind of thing. And, we're lucky that we've got our sort of brain trust. You know what I mean? Not everybody has that. I think that's why it's also important for people to do your homework. Just like we say with domains, do your research, do your homework, make sure you've got good people and that you're following good folks and, and that, try to make the best reasoned decisions you can. But shit moves quick. And you saw it with the art drop or the art blocks drop where none of us got it because it was you're either in or Alan, you hit me about the mines shit the other day and I had to wrap ether. And in the amount of time it took me to wrap the ETH to be able to put in the offer, it already sold out. You know what I mean? And it was yo, that was, it's a wild thing. But I will say this, when crypto took off back in 18, when it was that wave, there were things I couldn't take advantage of because I didn't have accounts at certain places. I didn't have a certain knowledge and understanding, this time around was much different because I had accounts at the various exchanges and different things and wallets and shit like that I was able to use. And I think NFTs is similar to that too, where it's like so much of it is also foundational, where you got to do your homework, understand how these things work so that you can actually take advantage of, hey, this thing is happening. You know what I mean? So you need to know, how a lot of this, the wallets, MetaMask, different things, the different exchanges, like, and even then it's still like, we're still learning on a daily basis. So I think it's, there's no doubt there's a lot there. So, all right. Well, with that, I think we are pretty much out of time. This was as good as I hoped it could be. This was a lot of fun. And I would have liked to have minted one of those art blocks. That would have made it a big win. But, I did pin down what UTC time zone meant. So that'll be good for the next one.
Hey,
there's that.
Can I throw in one last piece of advice for anybody?
Oh, please do, man. Go ahead.
So if you're using MetaMask, I mean, a lot of things too have, it's like, your Google search history or something. Like, you guys can even do this on you guys probably know this, but if you click on your MetaMask and hit on the 3 digits and look at connected sites, you might be connected to like hundreds of different sites that you've connected to. I mean, if you're not using them, just delete the connection, because you're leaving the data like open to people just to kind of read your wallets, and it's kind of scary actually.
I think that is a great piece of advice, dude. That's awesome. In fact, I'd seen that before but didn't do it. Completely forgot about it, and now I'm looking and
say that again. So how do you do?
So you go to your MetaMask. I use the Chrome extension myself, so if you go click on the thing, there is the 3 dots, like kind of on the right next to where it says your account and your account number. And you click on that, you've got expand view, account details, view on Etherscan, and then at the bottom, connected sites. You click on connected sites and it shows you everywhere. So I'm connected on the Bored Ape Yacht Club, OpenSea, a couple other things, Decentraland, some other stuff. And so it's you can disconnect from those so that you're no longer like locked in. So again, you jump into this thing, the Rocket Factory thing, you do that, make sure when you later on you disconnect from it if you do decide to connect, so that way, they don't have this, they're not connected to your wallet, which, I've seen some crazy stories about people who've also, they've done deals and trades and, some of these things that involve trust. And you talk about people you don't know. I mean, I saw one thing where some guy transferred over an ape because he was supposed to get back a bunch of other shit, and the guy never, the guy then just ghosted on him. It's like, okay, it's on the blockchain, but it doesn't necessarily mean that, so people aren't necessarily bad actors. So I think that's also another piece, which is, security. I mean, then there's this whole thing about cold storage versus, and some, but we won't get into, we won't get into the weeds of that, but
let's do episode 2.
we're going to do plenty of episodes, man. It's all good. Like, this is just one of many. I mean, this is what's been great about the rabbit hole shows in general, is that it allows us to do this. People are like, hey, just to be clear, we're not really talking about domains on this show. This show, we're talking about what we feel is an extension, of domains. But this is about NFTs. So for people, they don't have to,
money.
it's about getting rich.
It's about having fun and making money. That's what.
So what are we gonna do? We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this again.
Of course, man. We've been doing this.
I'm just here for JT's rap. That's it.
Oh man, it's coming.
We should.
Doing ape shit, going ape shit.
We should do it. We should do it again. We should definitely do it again.
Yeah, man. Well, we've been doing the rabbit hole thing. Well, we've had Yoni
Blanco. I'm the head honcho. That's me in the yacht club playing on the bongos.
All right, don't give him too much. Don't give him too much.
I'm so glad that JT has the edit function here.
No, but well, don't forget, we've been doing the rabbit hole. Yoni was going to be on the show. He's not super in NFTs, but he's got some pretty interesting thoughts around that stuff. But he just couldn't tie into the timing because we had to shift the timing. But but this is kind of like, we're going to keep, and I think that this will become a recurring theme, because we are spending so much of our time and attention on NFTs. And, we're also, like Drew mentioned, I mean, we're investing in a couple of NFT platforms. We've got a couple of different things we're working on to try to, do some NFT stuff that's not just collecting. And all this is going to continue to evolve and everything else. And so it's all good. But
and for domain name people, sorry, JT, and for domain name people too, if you're still just focused on domain names, yeah, that's fine. Everybody does it. But there's a ton of keywords and stuff that you can get, I'm sure, through these videos to move into domains. Like, you can still find it valuable. So
That
Don't
is a
mute any-
great point.
Don't mute anybody except Shane. That's it.
Yeah, definitely.
Shane.
Listen,
Well, it's his Twitter account
In-
suspended anyway. Alan's point is great, and I think we can speak to this too. I mean, we've had an incredible first half of this year, and a lot, so many of the names that we've sold, and a lot of the names that we bought as well. I mean, are NFT or crypto related, and it's like if you're so close-minded because you are in this weird sort of bucket of like, oh, I just want to focus on domains. Well, domains, all roads lead to domains. I mean, we say that for a reason. This is what.
well, no. So hold on. Nuance that with, you want to stay all in domains? I'm all good with that. Like, to each his own. If you want to invest in dog shit, have at it. I support you.
How rare
You want
is
a
it?
T-shirt? Like, I'm gonna get you a T-shirt.
Sources of income. You want as many sources of income. This morning, I get an email
Where is
saying
it?
I sold an NFT and I sold the domain. I don't have to pick. I can have both. Why do you have to focus on one? You're not going to be a better domain investor because you don't buy an ape. That's not how it works.
And it's all right. We're not trying to go on a rant.
Said.
I think, and this is really just telling people, look, this is part of what we're doing. We're just hoping to share.
Free your mind.
We're
To
having
be
fun.
fair, most people can't afford an ape anyway. So it might be the fact they might just be annoyed at the fact that they cannot afford an ape. Like, let's be fair.
Damn, son.
I mean, no, I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be rude. But like, it's like if you see people talking about apes all day, and you're just like, shit, man, I can't even get close to affording an ape, and all I see are these fucking apes. You're probably going to be pissed.
Oh,
The best quote ever comes from the Bitcoin world. You will own Bitcoin at the price you deserve. You will own an ape at the price you deserve. Okay, that's it. I think it's so crystal clear. It's such a perfect quote. You will own it at the price you deserve. That's it.
Yeah.
But the bumper sticker looks better with Josh if
risk.
you can't afford an ape.
You're mad because you can't afford it. But
that's going to be a meme, Josh. Everybody's going to mute you.
No, hey, look, but this goes back.
Oh no!
But this is the point. Let me soften this, and then we're going to shut it down. But it's not so much like I get what you're saying, Josh. It's like, look, it's not my thing. I can't get involved. There's barriers to entry that. And it's just, I don't have the time for it, whatever. And, look, and we're not sitting here saying, hey, everybody's got to get involved with NFTs, but there are entry points that are not the same as buying an ape. There are other things to do that get involved. And I think for me, it's more about, you don't even have to spend $1 necessarily, although by spending the money and getting involved and actually doing the stuff is when you really, really learn, right? It's like you learn by doing, but you can do plenty of research. And by doing research around these other aspects of digital assets, I personally think that it's only going to help you be a better domain investor. So that's the tie-in there, and I think that.
But also don't forget that just like all roads lead to domains, all roads lead to apes and punks. So people who are selling the penguins and whatever, I'm not saying any.
People doing penguins,
product.
that shit's hot.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not. No, I promise I can't pick an animal without projecting some shit. So any animal that they're trying to sell is that they're trying to profit to get an ape or a punk. There's a pretty high chance of that.
Yeah.
So be very careful of shilling.
Yeah,
that's
don't
fair.
chase, wait.
Yeah, and I've got no interest in any projects, but I do like the idea of penguins. We'll call them like chili tuxedos, you know what I'm saying? And there'll be all different kinds of penguins, because it's
I'm gonna get some.
Listen, I personally, so far, like for me, the only NFT project that really spoke to me was the apes. I love the apes. I don't even like the dogs that much, but I kind of like the idea of what we might be able to do with the dogs later, or what we can do in conjunction with the apes. But I also believe fundamentally that first, and then there's everything else, right? And so it's like the way I invested into domain names was .com that's the end all be all. There's money to be made in investing in .xyz, .io, .co, whatever. Pick your poison, right? But the real money, it's in .com. Right. And in the NFT space, it's like, okay, apes were the first sort of, let's say value added, avatar NFTs, right? Punks were the first, just I don't know, the PFP, is that what they're called? So punks were the first PFP, icon type of NFT. That's it. They're the first. You can't, there is no other one, right? But there's in each category, it's like there's going to be art NFTs, music NFTs, and you know, there's a first in each category, and then there's everything else. And you know, in general, I just think sticking to the first is always a good idea.
Well, yeah,
You know,
and I
even if
agree.
it's like,
Yeah,
it's like okay, well, people are like, well, you know, I got $1,000 to spend, I can't afford Bitcoin anymore. It's like, well, you know, you can buy $1,000 of Bitcoin instead of going and buying $1,000 of a shitcoin, right? You know, I think.
What are you doing, Shane? Shane's taking selfies.
Well, it depends on the rarities of that shit going.
No, but I'm with you. But I think makes sense. And I think
Yeah.
collecting stuff in general, it's like, you know, try to get the best, right? Like that is that there is a principle there, and I think
Just
that makes
good advice. Yeah,
that makes sense. And yeah, so hey, but there's a lot more to follow. Again, we're just barely, you know, we're kind of just scratching the surface as we kind of do this. We'll all regroup again sooner than later. That's why I said from the last show where we talked about the apes to now, it's like so much has happened, and it's like, you know, so it'll be
$20,000 has happened.
well, yeah, true. And I think it's also like, you know, somebody was talking about, it was Fuck Render was talking about his auction that he has going on Sotheby's or Christie's or whatever. And I guess it's like a 13-day long auction. He's saying how exhausted he is. And then someone's like, well, that's 13 years in NFT time. You know what I'm saying? Like 13 days is like a lifetime with how fast this stuff is moving, which is also just wild. So, all right, well, guys, look, I appreciate the time as always. You know, I want to say thank you to the panel for being on here, Alan, man, especially taking the time, and we'll definitely do this again soon. Josh, Shane, Drew, as always, and as I always say on the show, thank you to the audience. Without you guys, there's no us. But you know, interact with us, man. Hit us up on the you know, hit us up on Twitter, hit us up on DomainSherpa.com where you know, post you know, comments. If you got thoughts, questions, whatever, like, you know, let us know. Good, bad, ugly, holler at us. You know, we're not hard to find. And as you can tell, we love talking about this stuff. So, I mean, this is what we do all day. So, you know, we're talking domains, we're talking digital assets, we're talking NFTs, and just doing what we do. So with that, I want to say thank you, you guys. Thank you, everybody. We will see everybody here next time on Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. Peace out.
It don't matter what you do.